The very best week to sell your house, and the Biden housing remarks, and the Bald brothers respond to that. Welcome to today's episode. You're listening to the Home Sellers Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253 today.
Hey, Todd, welcome back. Happy Easter. That is just a few days away.
Yeah, happy Easter. And it's always strange when Easter comes in March. It just seems like it really sneaks up on us so quickly.
So it is, and hopefully you and your family, if you're listening to this, will make your way to a great Easter service this Sunday.
Yes.
We do wish you God's best during this season. And, it's interesting. I've known a lot of people that are going through hardship and a lot of difficult times. And it is in those times when people tend to go to church.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this weekend, if you are attending a church somewhere, that you will have your spiritual needs met and that you will feel much encouraged.
Yep.
With what you're going through.
We encourage you.
That's right.
If you don't go to church, try it out this Easter.
Try it out.
Right after 9/11, where there was a resurgence of people going to church immediately
Standing
after.
room
Yeah,
only.
I remember at our church, it was quite insane.
Absolutely.
So happy Easter to you. So today, we've got a couple things that we want to talk about.
We do, and just a reminder, you're listening to the Bald Brothers team, and our whole mission for this episode, for our show, is to empower homeowners to make informed and intelligent decisions. And if you're a home buyer, welcome to the inside chat that we have between us and our sellers. And what we bring to you is a lot of experience from working with sellers. In fact, right now, we're going to talk about a great, exciting topic, and we're actually living it in real life, okay? So this topic, Todd, about the best time.
It's so funny because we just did an episode talking about is now a great time to sell your home. And we have been validated.
Validation!
We have been validated.
We love being validated.
Yeah, we have been validated by an article that came out on Realtor.com. For those of you who aren't familiar with Realtor.com, .com tells you it's a website.
Yes.
But it's actually on par, similar to Zillow and some of these other consumer-based websites where you can go and look up properties and see property evaluations. And they have an article that talks about the very best week to list your home.
The very best week, which would be, without further ado, it says, I'll just start reading the article to you, and we're going to put a link to this in our show notes.
Yeah.
But it says, every year, 1 week stands out from the rest as the perfect stretch of time when it's great to be a home seller. This year, that week is...
Drum roll.
April 4th, 10th.
I was going to say,
through the 20th.
You're saying April 4th because we happen to have listings going active on April 4th. It's top of mind.
April 14th through the 20th.
There we go.
Is the best time to sell. That is, if sellers want to see lots of interest in their homes, sell quickly, and pocket some extra cash, according to Realtor.com data.
Yeah, and hey, they wouldn't lie to us.
No.
And the Bald Brothers team, we wouldn't lie to either.
All things on the internet are completely
always
valid and
true, unless we say otherwise.
That's right. So what's interesting is this week actually moves every year.
Yeah.
And it does typically fall in line with a couple of weeks after Easter, so long as Easter does not fall at the end of April.
Yeah.
Because this mid-April is typically the best time to sell. And we know for sure.
We know from experience.
From experience.
Years and years of experience. And we just talked about this, the springtime, and there's a few different things. And by the way, if you want to get the full ins and outs of this, go back to that episode just a few episodes ago where we talked about this. But the fact is that you are beating the summer rush of sellers choosing to list their homes that wait until May or June.
Less competition.
Less competition. But you have buyers that are actually trying to beat the summer rush because they want to find out where their kids are going to school. And they want to get in. If they're going to open escrow, they want to close before the summer months. They can have all of that solidified. So April right now is the spring. Let's say just the spring is really a good time. Now, question, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
You and I, as of right now, on the 4th, we have 3 listings going active on the 4th. And then we have a listing going active after that week that you said. Does that mean that we need to go back to our sellers and say, you know what, we were off. We need to list them all on this week?
Yeah, no, that's not what's going to happen.
No.
The reason that's not going to happen is because, sellers have different time frames and different timelines that they need to work on.
Yep.
And so we will list appropriately. However, we have encouraged many of them to go live in April.
Yep.
For this very reason. Because experience that we've gone through year after year after year again does show that the buyers are out in mass number. Mm-hmm. They're not waiting till summer to make their best offers. Yep. And even right now, as we are recording this, you and I have everything on Do Not Disturb because we have so many different people trying to call us because we have 2 active listings right now. Mm-hmm. And how many offers do we have between the 2 of them?
Oh, boy, you're putting me on the spot.
Well, just guess. It's
between the
10.
2, we've got probably 12 to 15, I think, at this point. But
yeah, so they're going to be coming in.
They keep coming in because now is a busy time.
Yep.
And those homes, as we said, we put them on the market at this time of year, and we had tremendous. In fact, over the weekend, we had rain on Saturday and Sunday afternoon, a little bit later on Sunday. We had 2 open houses on Saturday and Sunday at one of our properties. And the question was, is Benny going to get that? The seller was asking. The seller was asking, and even one of the realtors that was doing the open house was asking, "You think we should do it? It's rain?" We had an overwhelming turnout at that open house, in spite of the rain.
Over 88 parties in 2 days,
and we have multiple offers on that home.
Yep.
So,
and it's going to sell for over list price.
It's going to sell well over list price at this point. Yeah.
Well, both of them are going to sell over list price.
Both of them.
And both of our sellers are going to get to pick and dictate the best terms for them. And that's all possible if you list and sell in this first half of the year, at least this year. And if everything being the same next year, it's going to be, again, that's similar kind of efforts. Now, if you're a buyer and you're thinking, oh, my word, did I miss it? You haven't missed it. Because more sellers are going to come on the market in June and July. Yep. They have not listened to this episode. They do not realize that they're behind the times. And you are going to see things slow up a little bit, and you're going to be able to get some offers accepted. Yep. We do have buyers at this time that just kind of give in and they give up because they feel defeated. They've written 4, 5, 6, 7 different offers. Nothing gets accepted, and they just give up. But let me encourage you, don't give up. Work with an agent that really understands how to communicate with the listing agent so that they can build rapport. They can figure out what terms the sellers are looking for so they can write the right offer. It doesn't have to be the most aggressive because the highest price offer with all the wrong terms on the other stuff does not mean that you're going to get the deal. It's not about price.
It's not
all the time.
The price is a factor, but it's not the only factor. It's one thing to open escrow, but it's quite another thing to actually close escrow. We can open escrow all day long, but if you don't close, what's the purpose and what's the point?
That's right.
Aaron and I are working with buyers right now that are in that scenario, and actually we just had the conversation with them. Hey, you know what? It's okay if you're not getting accepted with these offers because there's low inventory, but the inventory will start to pick up as we get into the summer. You'll have more options to choose from, and hopefully you'll have more opportunities to get the winning offer. But hey, we are the home seller's advantage, and so what we're talking about today is educating you as the home seller and how to help you make the best decisions.
And if you have not already, we encourage you to give us a call at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-BALD. You can call us anytime, 24/7. We've got an answering service there that will take your call and make sure that the message gets over to us. Or you can visit us 24 hours a day at our website at baldbrothers.tv. And I want to say a couple of things. We've had some great interaction on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this, hello, welcome, thanks, subscribe, like, share, of course. And we've just been able to reply over the weekend to a bunch of the different comments. And so I encourage you to hang out there. Go read the comments, interact with the other show listeners. We've got some different opinions. They say, hey, we are right, we're wrong. that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And, if you are watching our show and you're a K-Wave listener, you may have heard our ads on K-Wave.
Welcome.
Drop a comment as well. We'd love to hear from you that way. We love to always know where people are coming from.
That's right. So thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the faithful listening. We're going to change pace here. So let's quickly, or maybe not so quickly, talk about some remarks that President Joe Biden said about housing.
Yeah.
Now, set the stage. Last week in Las Vegas, he gave a speech, and one of his platform agenda items is to promote more affordable housing. And from the commenters on our website and our YouTube channel, we do see a lot of people saying, hey, rents are out of control, things like that. So this is a very real need in America to have some affordable housing, right? Cost of housing, especially in Southern California, very expensive. How many times do you and I, Todd, hear people leaving California because housing is so expensive?
Oh, yeah. We hear it all the time.
It's a common thread in our conversations every day. So he is speaking to a crowd in Las Vegas, and he's talking about housing. And in particular, he mentions the commission lawsuit settlement that was
which we discussed on last week's episode.
That's right. So go back and listen to the last episode number 44 in our show. If you're listening to the podcast, or if on YouTube, you can just look it up in the list there. This last week's. So we talk about this commission settlement lawsuit, this lawsuit that's reached a settlement, and I'm going to play Biden's remarks from YouTube. And so if you're watching, you'll see it. If you're just listening, just listen in, because it's important to understand what he's saying. And again, this is as he's talking about all the different things he's doing to create housing affordability. Let's listen in.
In addition, last week, the National Association of Realtors agreed for the first time that Americans can negotiate lower commissions when they buy or sell their home.
Okay, so that's it. He said, well, he then talks a little bit more about settlement.
Talks more about other things, but yeah.
But in particular, he says that last week, for the first time, Americans can negotiate their commissions with their realtors.
Yes. And all of us who have been in the industry and all of us who are realtors in California are scratching our heads saying, you've always been able to negotiate the commission.
Yeah.
And so, and by the way, this is not a political show, but a lot of the things that we deal with are political in nature, because politics, we live in a world that is governed by politics. Yeah. And of course, also you have popular opinion, you have the news media, and just because words are uttered and they are covered on the news does not make them true and accurate.
Well, and so if you have never really thought about commissions, and you hear the President of the United States state that for the first time you can negotiate commissions, you will be misled, because the fact finders are all over this. This is just simply not true. And in fact, the National Association of Realtors president, his name is Kevin Sears, came out with a statement, and I'm just going to read the statement to you, and we're going to put a copy of the link to this article in the show notes. While the National Association of Realtors appreciates President Biden's continued focus on the affordable housing crisis, the president unfortunately repeated incorrect claims that the recently announced settlement agreement allows Americans to negotiate commissions for the first time. Commissions were already negotiable before this resolution was reached, and we continue to be negotiable as they have been. And in fact, if you're in California and you have listed or sold a property, you will know that in your listing agreement there is an entire sentence that is in bold that says commissions are not set in stone by law.
Yeah.
They are in fact negotiable by law.
Yeah.
Because we as brokers have negotiable commissions. And Todd and I will be the first to say we take listings at different commissions all the time. We had a land deal, 10%.
Yep.
We've had some listing sides, repeat customers, big deals, as low as 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's always been negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing this for 20-some years.
Yeah.
I've never had a seller under the assumption that it was not negotiable.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller and you're listening to the first time, just know it's always been negotiable. What Biden said is inaccurate.
Yeah.
So it's unfair to paint the entire industry as this status quo that's been going on forever without it being negotiable.
Yeah, and this just adds to the lack of information and misunderstanding, the confusion surrounding this topic. And this is not to disparage anybody who doesn't understand this, because most people are not buying and selling real estate multiple times in a year. So we wouldn't expect you. So when you're getting information from the news that is inaccurate or misleading, it does not help you. It does not help the industry, but it also does not help you as the home seller or also as the home buyer. And I keep going back to the fact that the things that we see in print and espoused in the news media, regardless of where you stand politically, is you have to do your research. I think back and getting away from the political standpoint of this, some people might be aware that several years ago we had a daughter who was in the hospital for a period of time. It was a life-threatening situation, and it was a situation that gained national news. It was actually on the news nationally, internationally. And I remember being
Todd's daughter's famous because of this.
Yeah.
Not that you want your family
No,
famous for this reason.
She was well known because of this particular situation, life-threatening. And she's alive and with us today.
Amen.
So, but getting back to this, I was interviewed by several different people on the radio, on television, and also in print media. And I could not believe the inaccuracies in some of those reportings. And this is from stuff that's non-consequential, such as even my daughter's name in one of them, whether she was a cheerleader or a dad. I mean, just a lot of the details were just thrown in there. And then these publications who were getting information from this one source would reprint it. They'd take it and repackage it. And so you had misinformation about my daughter and her story. And it didn't really matter, but it mattered from the standpoint that I was realizing, oh my goodness, on such an unimportant news story, to us it was important, but on a national scale, no, it wasn't that important, that they got so much wrong, and it was just passed out, and you read it and you assume it's true. And so if that's the case, what's it like for more important things on the national mind, such as realtor commissions and our economy and others, geopolitical types of things? It really influences the minds of people.
Yeah.
So,
well, and Biden goes on to remark that that this is one way that it will help housing. By making it negotiable. Yeah. And Kevin Sears continues. He just says real estate agent commissions are driven by the market and they are not the cause of the affordability crisis.
That's right.
We have a serious lack of inventory.
That is it.
We do not have enough housing starts, housing available for the number of buyers that are buying.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the fact that right now, today, you and I have 2 listings. We have by the end of today, when we start to present tonight, we will have over 8 offers per property. That's 8 to 1.
Yeah.
It's not 1 to 1. Yeah. It's not even 2 to 1.
And so 1. What happens when that many people are competing for a single property?
Price go up.
Prices go up.
And
so that is the issue. It's not the commission. The commission keeps things moving, but it's the lack of inventory. And when you have too many people competing for too few products, prices go up. It's just basic economics.
Yeah. Which
supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. So we want to talk about this as well. And it wasn't in our little intro, but let's talk about where does housing come from? Okay, because right now in the state of California, specifically, that's where we work, there is a mandate from Sacramento that is causing cities to adapt and to build more housing units.
High density.
But they just have to build more.
Yeah.
And in order for cities to comply, that requires cities to create high density. Because, for example, in Orange County, Garden Grove has to add 22,000 new housing units over the next 8 years.
Yeah.
Now, where are you going to put 22,000 more homes?
Where is the space? Where can you physically fit those in? Well,
to give you an example, Yorba Linda has 22,000 homes, period. So
For
like
all of
the City of Garden Grove has to take every single house in Yorba Linda and put it in itself.
Yeah.
Like it just can't do it.
Yeah.
It is physically impossible without creating high density.
high density. Yeah, that's why you got to go to high density.
So there's these new laws that have come out in California that allow a homeowner to convert their garage into an ADU. And then literally you can go to the county and you say, hey, I want a new APN number, a new parcel number for my garage because I'm going to sell it separately from my house.
Yeah.
Ta-da, we got 2 out of 1.
2 out of 1.
It's like a cell splitting and dividing, right? We got 2 out of 1. You can also split the lot. And then you can build
mitosis.
That's right. So like you can split your lot in half, and then you can build another house with another ADU, and then all of a sudden you've gone one property into 4, right? So but without adding any geographical dimensions to your lot. So there's all these laws that are coming about, but I wanted to bring it up in light of this. Big builders, and what they're doing in light of these new laws. But before they do that, I just want to remind people. They can reach us at baldbrothers.tv.
We got to throw that in there.
We do. I'm going to throw that in there.
By now, hopefully you've got it memorized because you're regular listeners. But you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253. And as Aaron just mentioned, our website, baldbrothers.tv. You go there, and that has access to everything online as well.
And I do want to say that we're grateful for our sponsors. I just want to throw that. We got Beacon Escrow, Crosswalk Mortgage, we've got Blue Elevator, Business Consulting. We've got some people on there that are very supportive of our show, and we're grateful for them. So give them support as well. So let's quick talk about this. Yeah. You and I were out to lunch today.
Yeah, we were out to lunch today.
And we were discussing
the fact that as we were going to where we were going, all of a sudden the skyline, you can't see the sky because there's apartment buildings going up and they're occluding the skyline, so you can't see. And that's a result of what Aaron was just talking about, the demand for more housing and the lack of geographical availability to put the home units in. So you go to high density housing.
And you're looking at multiple different, even high-rise office buildings are being converted into housing. You've got old empty lots that are converting into high-rise housing. The reason this is important to understand, if you are living in Southern California and you're hoping that all these new housing buildings, all these new units that are coming to the market will make it affordable, the reality is it's not. Because they're putting in newer, high-density, usually luxury housing, which is driving rents up everywhere.
Yeah.
And also, in looking at the comments on the YouTube channel on our videos, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of people angry at what they consider greedy landlords. And here's the reality. What's happening in California is that the family portfolio, they own maybe 4 units or 10 units or even 100 units, but it's a family, okay? They are being squeezed out of the market by these corporations that are coming in, and they're building 400 units in one building, right? And the difference between a family portfolio is that you have somebody who recognizes the need for housing, typically is more negotiable on rents or on fixing things. We have an elderly client. He's got two condos that he rents, and you know what? He doesn't raise the rent like he should, compared to others around him. But he has tenants in there for a very long time because he's meeting a need for a family. Whereas a corporate, person who's behind a desk crunching numbers says, "Hey, we got to raise the rent."
Yeah, so it's all about the numbers. And
what if they move out? Doesn't matter. And if they squat, guess what? If there's a squatter there, they have corporate attorneys. They're going to come after you like crazy. So you're being left with these families who are being squeezed out because they're looking at the future thinking, California makes it hard for landlords unless you're these big corporations who have attorneys. Like, I'm a small mom and pop's landlord. I can't do it anymore. I can't afford to evict a squatter. I can't afford to go in and repair a property that's been destroyed by a tenant who is already 3 months behind. Like, those guys are going away and big corporations are coming in. So for as much complaining as we see about landlords, it is the family landlords typically who offer the best rates and are most workable in difficult situations. But they're going away. Because these new builder remedies allow builders to come in and tear down things and build these gigantic
So
properties.
it's creating a less friendly environment for that type of landlord.
Yep.
And property owner. And so they're going away. They're going out of state. They're divesting of their holdings in California, and they're doing 1031 exchanges out of California. And they may still be landlords, but they've chosen not to be so in California.
Yep. And so if you're a homeowner and you're listening to this and you're thinking, how does that affect me? Well, if your house is next to an empty lot and a 5-story building comes up next to you, because that's what's going to be built there because of these housing element requirements by Sacramento, the value of your home goes down.
Yeah, that affects the desirability of the property. And let's face it, property values, this desirability is part of what affects that.
That's right. And so these things affect all of us. You know, you may think you didn't vote for it, you didn't ask for it, but if you got that big building going up down the street, it's going to affect the value of your home.
Yep.
If you rent down the street, it's going to affect the value of your rent. Because if all of the new buildings are charging $4,000 a month and you're at $2,200 a month at an old building, that landlord ain't dumb.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, your only option is jump to 4. I might bump you to 26.
Yeah.
And so your rent's going to go up. So in my opinion, in our opinion, you know, we don't see a lot of decreased value in housing in terms of cost of living in California.
Yeah.
It's just high.
That's right.
Hate to leave you on a downer.
Yeah.
You know,
but
it's
that's how we're going to leave
It's where
you.
we're at. It's where we're at.
That's where we're at. But hey, if you don't want to stay on a downer, you got to tune in next week. We might bring you right back up.
That's right. We'll have great news next week.
But you know what? Today's show is an awesome show. This is the best episode we've recorded this week.
That's right. And the only episode we've recorded this week. So thank you for liking, subscribing. We do have a lot of fun working with our clients. And if you are thinking about selling, we want to give you some very specific advice. It has nothing to do with our show because your situation is unique and you need unique and special advice. So that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Give us a call. We're the Bald Brothers. And just one more encouragement for you guys. Head to a church this weekend.
That's right.
May God bless you.
You won't regret it.
You won't. And happy Easter. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.